substitution in your everyday world, everyday conversation. For what? A substitute teacher. Excellent. Where else do you hear substitute or substitution? Sports. So think about what happens when there's a substitute teacher or a substitution in sports. What's going on when that happens? We're kind of like a flip it. So one person's going in for the other. They're flipping spots. So one person goes to the bench, one person goes to the game. One teacher's at home, one teacher's working. Okay, whatever the case is. How about replace? Would you kind of think of that too? So if you're substituting for somebody, you're going to go in and replace them. Or a substitute teacher, teacher's coming in replacing the other teacher. And that's exactly in math what substitution means. It means that you are replacing to give yourself an advantage in an equation. Now we're going to work with systems of equations. We started to introduce this topic in lesson 15, where we are graphing systems. Now we're going to start to look at alternate methods. So substitution first, then elimination when we get to lesson 24. So substitution, we are going to use replacing to set up equations that are more beneficial to us. So here's what a system of equations looks like. It's two equations with both a y variable and an x variable. Now individually, we can't find out what y is or x is in this first equation because we can't solve anything. There's nothing that we know that we can get and solve out for a variable. Here, same thing. We got two variables. We can't solve for a single variable and find an answer. So here's where substitution comes in. Since both of them, y is equal to 2x and y is equal to 10x minus 16, we can substitute 2x, since 2x is exactly equal to y, we can substitute 2x in for that y down there. Now what that does is it makes this equation 2x equals 10x minus 16. So we are going to take, since this is y equals 2x, this is y equals 10x minus 16, since y and 2x are the exact same thing, they are equal to each other, we're going to replace the y in the other equation with 2x. So this 2x right here is where I put 2x for that y. So I took the y out, put 2x in. Now one big thing you'll notice is, looking at that new equation I put in blue there, how many total variables do I have in that equation then? 2x plus, I should say this, how many different variables do I have? Just one, right? Just an x, which one x is on the one side, the other 10x on the other side. But I'm down to just one type of variable, now I can solve it out. So now I'm just down to algebra. I'm going to get 10x moved over, I subtract it over, it's going to make negative 8x equals negative 16, which means x is going to divide by negative 8 on both sides, x is going to equal 2. So now I've got my x variable. Now we're going to do a second substitution. Since y is equal to 2x, we're going to put x, we're going to put 2 in for x. So this would be now y is equal to 2 times 2. What is y going to equal? 4. So we got our two answers. Now you got to be careful when you put your solution in. The solution is always an ordered pair, which is x first, y second. So when we put this in, we're going to put 2, comma, 4. So we have to make sure we put those in the correct order. 2, 4. Boom, there's our answer. So we've got our substitution, put the 2x in for y, solve for x, and now we're on our way. We'll look at one more of those. So we got y equals 2x, y equals 5x minus 30. So again, we'll substitute 2x in for the y. Basically, you're just setting both of those x parts equal to each other. 2x is equal to 5x minus 30. Okay, subtract 5 over, negative 3x equals negative 30. X equals 10. Now, once we know x is equal to 10, I'll put 10 in for the x. You can kind of do mental math. Y equals 2 times 10. That's going to mean y is equal to 20. So there's my second solution. So again, we'll put our 10 first.
X is 10, Y is 20. Substitute our answer in. There it is. So we get our complete check. All right, now we'll move into part 2, level 2. So we're still dealing with our two equations that both have x's and y's, but now we're back to using that replacing. So now that first equation I have is 8x plus 9y equals negative 28. Second one I have negative 4x equals y. When we're using substitution, what we're always looking for is we're looking for a variable that's solved out. So right here I got a nice y equals negative 4x. That means wherever there's a y, I can use a replacement of negative 4x. So in this problem, I'm going to take negative 4x and I'm going to substitute it in for the y right there. So here's what that would look like then. I'm going to have 8x plus 9. Substituted the y for negative 4x. So I'm going to put negative 4x right into there. And complete the problem is equal to negative 28. So this is the exact same thing as this top equation. The only difference is I took the y out and I put negative 4x in. So there's my replacement. That's like my substitute going into the game. My substitute teacher coming in to teach. I'm substituting that in, replacing it. Now we'll continue to work through. We got 8x minus 36x equals negative 28, which is going to give me negative 28x equals negative 28, which gives me divided by negative 28 on both sides, x is equal to 1. Once we know x is equal to 1, I always just go look for the simpler of the two. This one definitely has smaller numbers. Y is equal to negative 4 times 1. So y is going to equal negative 4. So there would be my second solution. Then I'll make sure when I'm putting in my answer, I have to put the x first. So I put in 1 and then negative 4. And there would be my result. Should we take a look at one more of those that are a little bit tougher? You guys got the hang of it. Want to look at one more? One more? Okay, let's look at the next one. So you guys help me out. So the top equation is 2x plus 2y equals 50. The bottom is y equals 4x. Which equation, top or bottom, has a variable solved out? Bottom. So here's my substitution right here. Y equals 4x. So this tells me that wherever y is, you can also replace that with 4x. They're the same thing. So I'm going to take the 4x and I'm going to put that in for the y above. Here we go. 4x. You coming up here, replacing, substituting that y right there. So then it looks like this. We're going to have a 2x plus 2 times. Right here, we took the y out, put in 4x, and that's going to equal then 50. Keep going. We're going to have a 2x plus 8x equals 50, which is going to give us 10x equals 50, which gives us x equals 5. Now, I like this one right here. If I put a 5 into there, 4 times 5, y is going to equal 20. So there would be my two equations. Or two solutions. Y is equal to 20. X is going to equal to 5. So I'll close that out. X is 5. Whoops. X is 5. Y is 20. So there should be my two solutions. Okay. So we'll leave that right there. So the rest of the time then we can use to either